Opopco Studios in Oklahoma City, this is a Hudiburg Fantasy Football Update with Mike Baldwin. I'm Jenny Carlson. We're brought to you by Hudiburg. You can go online right now and order your new car at Hudiburg.com. Do that during the NFL action. All right, Mike, we got the stardom sit-em list. Let's get with the stardoms first. Who you got to play this week for all those fantasy owners out there?
Well, the wide receivers are always unpredictable. I mean, one week they get 2 catches for 15 yards. The next week they have not necessarily an Eric Decker game, but over 100 yards and 2 or 3 touchdowns. So they're always a little dicey. But there's some guys that stood out. Roddy White has been hurt all year long. Back-to-back good games. The Falcons are out of the playoffs, but Matt Ryan, those guys are starting to play well. Rod Streeter, we told you a little bit about last week. He's one of those guys I don't know. Well, after yesterday, you do know. He had 7 more catches, 130 yards, another touchdown. He's now the new guy in Oakland. You got Jordan Cameron, the tight end that we've loved all year long. He had a little bit of a slump. Guess what? Campbell came back, was not concussed like Whedon was concussed. He has 2 touchdowns in a monster day. And then Charles Clay, the guy we told you from Tulsa, he had a little bit of a blip, but boy, they just went to him over and over yesterday in a big game that they needed against the Steelers, and he produced. That he's starting to look like Jimmy Graham, one of those matchup problems for other teams, even though he's not as big as a Jimmy Graham. So those are all guys right now, especially in a playoff format, they all look like they're playing well right now. I would go with them as far as the expect hotness, even though you could get that 2 catches for 14 yards game.
Right, but you can risk that with wide receivers all over the place. So, okay, what about the sit list? It goes back to the Kaepernick list this week, Mike.
A huge win for the 49ers, but not a huge week for Kaepernick owners if you started him. If you're in the playoffs, you probably lost because of it. Once again, 175 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. They're just running the ball. That's who they are, defense running the ball. If you got a better option, just go with it right now because the 49ers are going right back to where they were. He's only had really 1 good game in 6-7 weeks. RG3 we've told you about. Rumors now Shanahan may not even last the week. That's how disarray they are. They were embarrassing. Over 2,000 or 3,000 fans left when the game ended. RG3 looks like he's all but mailed in the season, so just give up on him. And there's got to be somebody even on the waiver wire better than him. CJ Spiller's a tough call on Buffalo because he has some good games, but he's been a little nicked up. Didn't play well yesterday. The one advantage him this week, they play at Jacksonville, but Jacksonville's won 3 out of 4, so he's a tough call. And then T.Y. Hilton, we told you about last week. Him and Luck. Luck finally woke up a little bit, but it wasn't to T.Y. Hilton. He only had 2 catches for 7 yards, so you just got to give up on him, especially in a playoff format.
Okay, some guys always, you got to look at injuries. Who's in the hospital ward this week?
Well, the number 1 is Aaron Rodgers. He's been out a month. The Packers are really struggling. Guess who they play? In Dallas next week. A big game for both teams. If the Packers have any chance, the rumors are he may be back. If he is, if you've got another one, it's going to be a tough call. He's been out a month, but he's Aaron Rodgers. So that could be a tough call. But watch one that he plays, and if he does play, you think he can jump right back in there with his shoulder and be good. And then a couple of others. Reggie Bush, out of nowhere, didn't play yesterday. And so his backup we're going to talk about on the other segment might be worth starting. If he doesn't, you got to watch him close. And then Rashad Jennings, who's played really well for the Raiders ever since McFadden got hurt. He had a good game against Dallas on Thanksgiving Day, but he got a concussion that game, did not play yesterday. His backup played well. So watch those guys. If they're healthy, you can play them.
All right. Lastly, the Bengals Dilemma. Rarely do we have a Bengals Dilemma, Mike. What the heck is this?
It's 2 running backs, and they're both probably worthy of starting. But if you have to choose one over the other as far as I like this guy playing, the other guy you maybe sent is Jarvis Green-Ellis had more carries, 17. Then Gennady Bernard, and he got the 2 one-yard touchdowns, which are always critical. Bernard had more yards yesterday, 99. They're both quality backs, but right now, the law firm, as I've informed my wife yesterday, he had 2 touchdowns and more carries. That's the guy that's probably still the better bet of the 2 if you have to make the call.
If you've got the Bengals Dilemma, go with him. All right, thanks, Mike. And be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoman.